My story, I joined directly after 9/11, the scariest day of my life, and I had no idea what was happening, but I felt that I needed to react. I felt that all those that I knew and had loved were in danger. And while I was fortunate that I was not directly affected by the 9/11 terror attacks, I had family that was in New York or in the Virginia, DC area, and I just felt I needed to react, I needed to do something. I joined the Army, and again, the whole purpose of me doing that was to react and feel that I could provide some sort of security, make some sort of a stance against terrorism. And it turned out to be the best decision I ever made. And I'm very grateful every day that I was able to return to be able to share not only my story, but those that I served alongside. When I first got there, I had no idea what to expect. A lot of people talk about, how do you prepare to go to war and the training? Did you have the right training for this? And everyone discusses, well, how do you fight the war on terror? And specifically with a female, a lot of people ask me, you weren't near the front line. And that's something that I think they touch upon, the war on terror. They're not in uniforms. It's no, distinct line like good guys, bad guys, on the count of 3, we're all gonna start firing our weapons. It never worked like that. So going over there and trying to adjust to the obvious cultural differences, not to mention that specifically American women, we were a target out there. We didn't blend very well, and there was a pretty high price reward for the capture of any of us. But I was really surprised by the nature of a lot of the local Iraqis that had volunteered to work with us. When I saw that, I knew that was a sign of something good. The fact that it wasn't that we were going out and we were dragging them in and saying, you have to work for us. They were saying, no, we believe in this cause, and we ultimately know that you guys will help us. And so whether they're working, with American forces, or specifically if they're gonna work alongside women, which again, something in their culture is not necessarily something that they were comfortable doing. But I noticed that they were making their own sacrifices to be part of the fight. And that's really kind of what myself and those that I serve with, we were able to kind of energize ourselves off of that these people are in it as well with us. It was a long deployment, and I definitely saw some very difficult things, but I also saw a lot of things that unfortunately we don't hear about so much back here. A lot of the really great things, daily mundane things that we might think in the military, everybody does them, but are still being executed and carried out day in and day out. And so I was just really glad that I was able to find this organization, Vets for Freedom. When I returned, I was stationed at Walter Reed Hospital, and a friend of mine that I ran into said, I have to introduce you to these guys, because there definitely was this feeling of service that, wow, I'm no longer active duty. I want to still be able to contribute and to talk and to educate people as far as, what is actually going on over there. I was really, really disappointed, and I think Pete and David can agree with this, is the majority of the media coverage was negative. Not only negative, but it also was spun off of, there was an entertainment edge that was added to, how exactly they were going to, increase their ratings, or what was going to capture a larger audience, which is completely wrong. And I think David, especially saw that there were a lot of journalists that were embedded within the troops that, we serve with, and David particularly. And you would really hope that they would, have the right report to send back home to let everyone else know at home what was actually going on. Unfortunately, that wasn't always the case. And so when I found out about Vets for Freedom, I was very excited that an organization like this existed. The idea that, we were over there, please give us some credibility. We saw it firsthand what happened. And regardless of what our position was in the service, our rank, or even our gender, it was really nice to be able to find a group that was continuing to serve outside, their initial commitment of deployment. And also I was glad to, be a female that was associated with this, because I worked with a lot of women, and when I came back, I didn't hear about a lot of women and their service and the sacrifices that they'd made. So for me personally, it's a huge honor. And just as much when we went back in August, I think all of our expectations, we really had our fingers crossed that things were going to be great. And I knew no matter what the situation was, that if things were still difficult there, that we would have told the truth. We would have said they've improved. No, actually they haven't changed that much. for all of us, I mean, my jaw hit the floor. I was absolutely shocked when I saw, again, Pete mentioned the relationships that had been established. And that is directly related to the amount of time that we've been in country. You don't create these links with each other unless you take the time to do it. And whether it be the way that American women were treated, whether they were Sunnis or Shias in the neighborhoods, and way they were able to, as they mentioned in local town hall meetings, that they were able to listen to each other and feel comfortable. And again, number one, it was safe. We went to a sheikh's house and everybody taking off all of their gear. The fact that I was even invited to go, that I was allowed to speak in a meeting, that would have never have happened in 2003, 4, 5, 6. That would have never have happened. The fact that they said, oh, you're welcome to come in and, be a part of this meeting, and, also we'd like to hear, some of your insight too as far as what you think about the meeting. Completely shocked. We're all dining together. I was really impressed with the soldiers that I was embedded with. Again, a lot of them, they'd accomplished multiple deployments, and so their Arabic was actually, really good. They were able to communicate with the local Iraqis. We would go out for daily patrols, and everybody is speaking Arabic, and they're, waving hello. It wasn't the typical, anytime you went outside the wire of your forward operating base before, it was kind of everybody was in check for safety reasons. This time it was, oh my gosh, I just saw him yesterday, looks like, he got his hair cut. I mean, everybody, it was really neat to see the relationships that have been formed, and I'm very proud to be able to say that the surge was a huge success, and I'm really grateful that I had the opportunity to go along with these guys to go back and see it firsthand, that what our efforts had ultimately done for us.